A boy is born in Bharatpur, Nepal in 1998. He doesn't see a bank until he's 13. His mother runs a 50-family microfinance group out of their home. That's his only model for how money moves. At 19, he lands in California with $100. By 23, he's built a protocol on Solana that streams salary like Netflix by the second. And in Q1 2026, the governing body of the US ACH network, the rails that moved $86 trillion last year, invites him to the same table as JPMorgan and the Federal Reserve. His name is Sam Thapaliya. His protocol is Zebec. Let me show you how this happened. So Sam Thapaliya was born in 1998 in Bharatpur, Nepal, and he doesn't see a bank until he's 13 years old. The only money infrastructure he's ever known is his mother running an informal microfinance group out of their living room. 50 families pooling money together, lending it out, and settling up in real time around her kitchen table. And that's the seed of everything. Because what is a streaming payroll protocol if not a programmable version of his mother's kitchen table? Money flowing between people without a bank in the middle, taking 3 days to settle. At 19, he lands in California with $100, goes to Menlo College, wins the Menlo Entrepreneurship Award in 2020, and in 2017, before Zebec even existed, he writes a paper predicting that money would one day stream like self-driving cars. Nobody understood it. The chains weren't fast enough yet. Then in 2021, Solana ships proof of history, 400 millisecond blocks, transactions for a fraction of a penny. The rails just arrived. So he builds Zebec, raises $6 million from Republic, Shima, and Briar. Then $15 million Series A in February 2022, co-led by Solana Ventures and distributed global, with Lightspeed, Circle, and Coinbase Ventures writing checks. Plant the name Lightspeed in your head. We're coming back to it. And in 2025, Simon Babakani joins as CEO. Simon's background is not crypto at all. He came up through Oliver Wyman, then Parthenon, then advised at Bain Capital, then ran his own firm called Payroll Growth Partners before this. Pure TradFi pedigree. So you have a Nepali founder who never saw a bank paired with a TradFi operator who never built a blockchain. And they're pointed at an $86 trillion problem. Here's the analogy Sam himself uses. Imagine paying for Netflix by the second, only paying for the seconds of content you actually watched. That's the user experience. Your salary just shows up, second by second. Open your wallet at noon, balance is higher than at 11. No payday, no 2-week wait, no lump sum. But here's the part most coverage gets wrong. No streaming protocol on Earth, not Zebec, not Sublier, not Superfluid, actually fires a per second on-chain transaction. They use a lazy accrual pattern. Here's how it really works. The employer locks wages into a Solana smart contract. The contract stores a payment rate and a start time. That's it. When the employee opens their wallet, the app does the math on their phone. Rate times elapsed time. The ticking balance is client-side math. It only becomes a real on-chain transaction when the employee hits withdraw. That's elegant engineering. Why does this matter for institutions? 2 words, ACH float. In 2024, the US ACH system moved $86.2 trillion across 33 billion payments, roughly 2 times US annual GDP. And every payment sits in transit for 1 to 3 banking days. Somebody earns interest on that money in flight, and it's not you. Streaming kills that float. The cancel mechanic is just as clean. Either party can pull the plug. The contract snapshots whatever the worker has earned. They keep it. The unstreamed remainder goes back to the employer. The worker can never be back-charged. All on chain. No HR ticket, no collections agency, just code. Zebec today is plugged into 18 plus chains, 150 plus tokens. They sold their old Layer 3 chain Nautilus to a project called 3Base in August 2024 and made a deliberate pivot. Instead of running their own L1, they show up on every chain that matters and act as the payroll API on top. March 19th, 2026 was the big one. Zebec lit up natively on Stellar, and the partnership comes with MoneyGram as the cash-out off-ramp. 450,000 MoneyGram locations across 170 countries. A worker in Mexico gets paid in USDC, walks to a MoneyGram counter, walks out with local cash. That's the rail. Then there's the card. 3 tiers: silver, carbon, and black. Just to correct older coverage out there, these cards are Mastercard only today, not Visa. Accepted at 100 million merchants worldwide, with Apple Pay and Google Pay support built in. And the named enterprise clients are the part that surprised me. AllUnity is Deutsche Bank backed. They issue a MiCA-compliant euro stablecoin called EURAU. NatPay processes $170 billion a year across 300,000 ACH clients, and they're the only independent payroll processor with FedNow access. CodaPay is a subsidiary of First International Bank and Trust. Pacific Meta runs Japan. Real companies plugging real workers into the rails. In aggregate, they're processing $500 million in annual payroll volume across more than 250 enterprise clients, with 50,000 monthly active users. This is not a test net. This is operational infrastructure paying real people every day. December 19th, 2025. Zebec announces they're joining the Nacha Payments Innovation Alliance. April 2nd, 2026. Nacha publishes the Q1 2026 new member list. Zebec is number 20 on it, sitting alongside Circle. Let me clarify what this means, because mainstream coverage gets this wrong. Nacha governs US ACH. The Payments Innovation Alliance is not the voting tier. That's reserved for direct members, banks. The alliance is the influence and innovation arm. Project teams shape proposals that go to the voting tier. So Zebec didn't get a vote on ACH rules. They got a seat at the table where the next ACH rules get drafted. And the table is JPMorgan with 3 reps, Wells Fargo, Plaid, Fiserv, Capital One, IBM, the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta, M&T Bank, FIS Global, and Circle. And that table moved $86.2 trillion in 2024. Zebec is also ISO 20022 compliant, the messaging standard SWIFT and central banks and FedNow run on. They acquired a UK firm called GateKnox in June 2025 for KYC. Worked with Arcax to draft their MiCA white paper. MiCA marked complete, FCA in progress. And here's a beat most coverage missed. July 10th, 2025. Simon Babakani and Neil Padier, Zebec's head of M&A, spoke at the UK House of Lords to MPs, regulators, and Padier dropped a line that belongs in a museum. Quote, "Regulation is no longer optional and is now infrastructure." That's the whole strategy in one sentence. They're not asking forgiveness from regulators. They're building with them in the room. Remember Lightspeed Venture Partners from Section 1? Here it is. Lightspeed has done exactly 2 foundational programmable money bets. The first, 2013, was Ripple's seed round, led by Jeremy Liu. The second, 9 years later, February 2022, was Zebec's Series A, led by a different partner, Justin Overdorf, ex-Stripe Capital. He built Stripe's lending product. Different partners, same firm, same thesis, and it's written down. Overdorf published the thesis on the Lightspeed Medium after the Zebec investment. Quote, "Fiat is not programmable, but crypto is. Programmable money streaming will define the payments landscape of the Web3 digital economy." That's not a portfolio note, that's fund-level conviction. Ripple and Zebec are the 2 ends of the same bar. Now about the Ripple-Zebec partnership rumors. I want to be careful. The viral May 2026 RLUSD payroll claim traces to a CoinMarketCap community post by an outlet called BSCN. Ripple has not published a press release. Zebec's own enterprise partner wall lists Algorand, Mastercard, CodaPay, Deutsche Bank, Circle, NatPay, Uphold Institutional, and Assure. No Ripple logo. Yet. But what is verified is this. July 9th, 2025, Sam Thapaliya is on an X space, asked about Ripple. His direct words, "We are working on something with Ripple. Once it's ready, we'll let the community know." And April 30th, 2026 at XRP Las Vegas, Simon Babakani speaks on stage right after Brad Garlinghouse. Not a press release, but it is a signal. Zoom out. Genius. Act signed July 2025. Federal framework for 100% reserve-backed stablecoins. Once stablecoins are blessed, and the payroll layer is already plugged into Mastercard, Deutsche Bank, and Nacha, whoever wins programmable salary owns the rails. Sam is pointed at that mountain, and the firm that backed Ripple is helping him climb it. So zoom out for a second. You've got a boy who didn't see a bank until he was 13, a mother running a kitchen table microfinance group, a paper at 23 predicting money would stream like Netflix, a protocol on Solana that accrues salary by the second, a Mastercard in 100 million stores, a Deutsche Bank partnership, and a seat at Nacha right next to JPMorgan. And the same fund that backed Ripple all the way back in 2013, quietly placing its second programmable money bet on Zebec in 2022. This is not hype. This is plumbing. And when the plumbing gets this quiet and this institutional, that's usually when you should be paying the most attention. If this rewired how you think about payroll, drop a like, hit subscribe, and tell me in the comments, would you stream your paycheck by the second, or do you still want the lump sum on payday? I'll see you in the next one.